Might Disney actually release a Predator movie that's good? Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. I would honestly, hand on heart, say that the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of those rare moments in cinema. It's a perfect movie. But could they actually be about to release a movie that is a worthy successor? I've seen the trailer for Predator Prey, and I gotta say, I think it looks really, really good. I think it looks really promising. I generally don't like prequels. I generally don't like them at all. But this one, set around 1719 in the Comanche Nation, might actually be pretty good. I like how they've kind of gone low tech with it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's, for a moment, have a think about the other Predator movies and why maybe they weren't successors to the original. Now, first of all, I'm going to start with Predator 2 with Danny Glover. I actually love that movie. I think it's a great film. I think the problem with Predator 2 is Predator. It's always going to be compared to the original. And standalone, Predator 2, if Predator 2 was released first, I think it would have been seen as a classic movie. I think it would have been seen as a great film on its own. The problem is it's always going to be compared to the original, and therefore people have always been a bit about it. I do think that the actual casting of Danny Glover maybe wasn't perfect, but obviously coming off Lethal Weapon, etc., he was the popular choice at the time. I don't think it quite worked, but other than that, it's a great film. Now, after Predator 2, we go into the AVP movies. Now, Alien vs. Predator was a film I was actually very excited about. The premise was actually really exciting, and they took elements from the premise of AVP and actually ended up making it in the Predators movie a few years later, but we'll go back to that in a sec. But the actual AVP film, and then saying that there's that whole history they created, and that mythos, they linked elements into the actual Aliens movie as well, which I quite liked. I thought would make a great film. And there are some cool bits in it. The bit where Predator and Alien fight in the temple and he's swinging him around by his tail and stuff. It's quite cool. But overall, it's not a very good film. It's a popcorn movie at best. It's a special effects film. It doesn't really add anything to the whole story. And to be honest, it just didn't quite work. The game AVP is much better than the film ever was. If you do like the content, by the way, guys, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Consider sharing the video wherever the hell you like and hitting that like. Don't hit the down. That doesn't help anybody. Also, consider becoming a fully fledged Sidetracker and hitting the join button. All these little things, they really help me to keep the channel going in. And then those few little pennies that basically means the wife will let me keep doing it. Now, AVP Requiem, let's just leave it at that. That film was bloody awful. It had no budget, I can't tell you who starred in it. I saw it not long ago, and I still can't tell you who starred in it. I have no idea the casting. Casting is so important with films like this. Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original, amazing. Even Danny Glover in the second one, I would argue, was could be good casting. But generally speaking, if generally speaking you cannot remember any of the actors from a movie, it's not good casting. Going on from that, I actually think there was a good Predator movie. The 2010 Predators with Topher Grace, who actually, from That 70s Show, is an actor I actually adore, and I actually particularly really loved him in this casting because, he played that like Weasley serial killer. All the way through you think he's the cowardly thing. You can't understand why he's there, and then it turns out he's there because he's a hunter in his own right. He's a serial killer. I really like that little twist in the movie. I really loved Adrian Brody in this film. He'd just come off an Oscar nomination, actually an Oscar win. He's a properly good actor, and he actually filled the sort of action role really, really well. I loved that it did add elements to the story. It dragged through this whole storyline from that should have been in AVP, really, about how the Predators have set up a reserve as such, and that they would capture people and monsters and things like this from all over the known universe and bring them to this nature reserve, if you like, and hunt them there. I always really liked that storyline from AVP. I wish they'd... It was actually rumoured that that was supposed to be the storyline for the original AVP movie, but they decided to go another way last minute. I kind of wish they'd merged those two films together. I think it would have worked much better. But actually, Predators was a good film. It was pretty well rounded. It's not a bad sequel at all. Off the back of that, they got to make The Predator in 2018. Now, this is a pure example of how to ruin a movie really, really quickly. The end sequence, where he gets the special Predator suit, the big transformer thing that goes all over all the way through, thinking this isn't a bad movie. It's a popcorn movie. It's not, it's just an action film. I love Thomas Jane in it. I love these other actors. Some of the ensemble cast are pretty cool. The storyline gets a bit towards the middle with the super Predator, but that actually does lead into a lot of what we know about the Predator and adds to the Predator, because we know that they were genetically modifying themselves, and that they would take the best bits of the creatures they hunted and try to perfect themselves. I liked that. It added something to it. But the end ruined the movie. And some of the casting wasn't great. Boyd Holbrook is a likeable actor, but, kind of forgettable. I do happen to love Alicia Olivia Nunn, though. I thought I think she's an incredible, beautiful woman, and she's a very good actress, and she's actually quite good in this role, even though they did fall into the trap of she runs around, screams a lot, and then all of a sudden becomes very good with weapons randomly halfway through the film. Just suddenly really good at guns. I never really understood that. I hate it when they do that in movies. Have some character development, people. But generally speaking, it's not a terrible popcorn action movie until the end, which makes you want to go, I've just wasted 2 hours of my life. Kill me. Now, Predator Prey, which was called Predator Skulls for a long time during development, is going to be released straight onto Disney Plus and Hulu in the United States. That concerns me, because I think if you have a big project like this, get it on the cinemas. But Disney Plus have shown in the last year, really, that even when they've got a project that is going to be released to cinemas, they almost then immediately release it on Disney Plus. They are really pushing Disney Plus, and they're using their own content, as they should really, to push Disney Plus as much as possible. They want it to be the #1 streaming service, and in all honesty, it will be very, very soon. But what do we think about the movie? Well, I put a survey on the channel a few days ago, and the results were actually pretty much 50-50. A lot of people said, yeah, of course we could have a great Predator movie. Why not? It's such a good character. Other people said, oh, the trailer looks okay. Maybe, yeah, it looks okay, good enough. Other people, about half again, though, said no. They can't make a good Predator movie. Evidence shows that they can't, and actually the trailer looks awful. But one comment I did find quite interesting said, well, the person they've cast as the main lead, Amber Midthunder, is a Comanche. Her heritage is the Comanche Nation. She is a really, really likeable actor, but she is a little girl. Now, he said, well, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, big muscles, and he couldn't even fight the Predator. How's this little girl going to? Well, I kind of think that's the point. In the original movie, the point was that Arnold Schwarzenegger's big, powerful bloke, and his muscles didn't matter. The Predator is bigger, stronger. The only way to defeat him is with smarts. Now, in the actual trailer, she says, the Predator knows how to hunt, but I know how to survive. And that is the point of the movie, and kind of the point of the Predator franchise in itself. That our muscles, our weapons, don't matter. It is how wily you are, how clever you are, and using brain over brawn. Now, in that case, it really doesn't matter if you're a little girl or a 6-foot Arnold Schwarzenegger. Your muscles are irrelevant. So, even though when I first heard about this project, I had exactly the same thoughts as that subscriber and other people who have mentioned that this film does look a little silly. How are people with axes really going to take on the Predator? You have to remember what the Predator is. He doesn't want to use his laser weapons unless he feels it's fair. He will let pregnant women live. He will do things because he has a twisted sense of honour. It's all about the hunt. We see from the trailer that he uses a lot of hand-to-hand combat when he is fighting groups of Comanche and early settlers. The other thing is, the Predator will not just slaughter this character straight away, this little girl. He won't see her as a threat. Now, she may use that at her advantage. Also, we do see her part of her using the mud and things like this, so she's obviously a very clever character. I actually would love to see, if they do this right, how this girl fights back against the Predator and survives. We see very early on in the trailer that she's a girl with attitude, that nobody believes she can do anything, but she does it anyway. And for me, that is the epitome of bravery. Because bravery is not about, doing something and not being scared. It's about being scared and doing it anyway. And hopefully for me, that will be the lesson from this movie. Also, have a look at the trailer. I'll put a link in the description. It looks like it's been beautifully made. And if they keep this film this side of silly and don't go too far with it and keep it subtle, this could be a great, great movie. And I am really, really looking forward to seeing it. So please, get in the comments. Tell me exactly what you think. Is this something you are looking forward to? Is it something that you weren't looking forward to, but actually, considering my comments, you might give it a chance? Hope so. Get in the comments though and tell me exactly what you think. Also, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps the channel out. Also, if you have enjoyed the content, please consider becoming a fully fledged side tracker. As always, guys, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.